Hello, Skele Vaderites and friends of Skele Vader. A viewer of this channel made a comment a few videos back and asked for me to do a toy collection tour. Now, just to forewarn you all, this is not a tour of my complete collection. This is a tour of my carefully curated collection behind the Skele Vader desk that you always see when you watch these videos. This is officially part 2 of the toy collection tour. Yes, in today's episode, we are going to be looking finally at the amazing items that are in this glass case. And then we're also going to spend some time on this shelf and some other treats thrown in throughout. You ready to do this? Let's go. Okay, folks, let's begin where we left off. We'll start here by showing this wonderful Skele Vader sculpture by my friend Chris Pelkey, and then this painting of Skele Vader that I made many years ago. And then many years ago, my wife and I bought this Raven painting together, and love that. Have him there, and underneath him, these Toxic Avenger figures. Now, I'm a huge fan of the Toxic Avenger and Trauma films. I love that company, love what they put out, and I love that first Toxic Avenger movie. I'm really excited that the new one is coming out soon. And then we've got these shelves of books and weirdos, right? So I've got some Hordak and the Horde reaction figures with another vintage Mossman and Vampira and Swamp Thing. Like, love my weirdos. And this is another shelf of weirdos and books too. That Bizarro by McFarlane, that Superpowers Bizarro, is amazing. Absolutely love that figure. And then this shelf, as I've mentioned before on my Instagram, I'm crushing on this shelf right now. I love what's going on here. Got more Cartoon Collection Masters of the Universe figures along with my reaction Sesame Street figures and a few others like Super 7's The Weirdest figures back there, and also Gumby. And that castle, that's the Cinderella Polly Pocket castle from like 1995. Love that thing too. And yeah, Misfits represent with the Crimson Ghost right there. And then up here, we've got the very last Toy Frenzy sticker that I have. Holding on to that thing with my dear life. And these new Adventures of He-Man villains, which are just beautiful in my opinion. And also these cereal monsters, Cause mail-away figures. And then my two buddies right here, Statler and Waldorf, the best, right? On top of them, we've got these smaller Snake Mountain and Castle Grayskulls, and then we've got the Creature from the Black Lagoon shelf. So I love the Creature. It is one of my favorites of all time. Right here, I've got my Darth Vader mask. This is the mask from my childhood. I recently got some new lenses that are vintage new lenses, put them in there, and now this thing is fairly complete, along with some other of my favorite figures right next to him. And then down here, this wonderful hitchhiking ghost from the Haunted Mansion standing in the Simpsons living room with some of those Jakks Pacific 2.5 inch Simpsons figures that are just amazing, with some Fisher-Price Little People and Clash of the Titans figures. And then below that, this shelf, I've really spent some time trying to figure out who should go here. Want my core baddies minus Skeletor, the supporting staff. I'm missing the Beastman, but I got that ordered from Hella Dope Toys. I'm very excited to bring him home soon. And over on the other side of my desk, I've got my 1985 Bendham's Ronald McDonald Happy Meal toy. And then on the front of the desk, now this is the part that's facing me. I got my Muppets and my Sesame Street and a really cool 1966 style penguin there. And I always think it's important to have quotes or post-its on the computer. This one is Albert Camus, all great deeds and all great thoughts have a ridiculous beginning. And then Conan O'Brien said this: lows are highs if you look at them upside down. And sometimes it's necessary to think about this. Life is just a lot. And so thinking about this sort of different perspective, a way to look at things, is really important. And over here I got a Ram Man from the McDonald's Happy Meal, and we got the Skeletor, New Eternia, and the Skelcon, and Bert and Ernie, and my little vintage wind-up Donald Duck, and of course Hammerhead and Mantenna. Love these guys. And over here on the other side of my desk, again, we're back kind of on the other side facing toward where I sit. We've got a few other really cool things. I found the Hordak and Grizzlor sketchbook series 2-pack at Target recently, and I haven't reviewed it yet. And some books. I'm doing a little research right now for a project I'm writing, and then the amazing Millennium Falcon playset. This is just one of my absolute prized possessions. Love this. And inside here, who do I got? Big Head Han and Chewie, and they look great together in there. So awesome. Over to the side, 2 items I recently picked up: the vintage Tauntaun and a 1960s vintage Dakin Donald Duck from Disney. And behind them, wonderful Skeletor advertisement for Honda that my friend Mark from Cambridge and Washawn podcast gave to me. And now we begin over here on the last stage of this toy tour, the other glass case behind me. There's my vintage Castle Grayskull in all of its glory. I was so lucky to get that at such a good deal. And then in front of it, we've got the Club Grayskull Merman, Clawful, and Trapjaw. And then in the middle there, we've got that wonderful NECA Staction Stinkor, which is amazing too. Love that so much. And underneath, we've got the Mondo Beastman and the Mondo Skeletor. This little compartment is sort of my homage to my favorite villains from Masters of the Universe. These two Mondo figures are absolutely extraordinary, but look at the beautiful vintage Beastman, Trapjaw, Skeletor, Clawful. The Panther here, I was able to get him in really great condition. And Stinkor, that is a bootleg Beastman there. And then here in front is the Beastman from Flash Gordon that my friend HP Brownsaucecraft, a Patreon of the channel, got for me. Merman, Triclops, and the beautiful Evil Lyn back here on that amazing land shark. I love the vintage Masters figures. And down here, we've got a few more. Of course, they're all standing next to this amazing Mattel 12-inch vintage style Beastman that came out about a few years back. Whiplash, we've got Evil Lyn from the Masterverse line. That's Evil Lyn is the Sorceress, Mantenna, Spikor, Leech, Modulok. Oh, all these. Grizzlor, Too Bad, they're so good. I love the vintage figures, and honestly, I think of all the stuff in my collection, the vintage figures are my favorites. And hey, Oz, if you're watching this, look, got some Snake Man here too. I know you'll get a kick out of that. But yeah, that Jitsu, fantastic. All great stuff. Such personality. Such amazing figures. So lucky to have been able to get these. And I got a lot of them at pretty good deals too over the years. And down here, we continue with Masters of the Universe. I got the Masterverse New Eternia Too Bad, which is a spectacular figure. Back here in the box still, I've been unwilling to take these out. We've got the Flocked Reaction figure Panther and Skeletor back there, an amazing box art from Super 7. And then some of these Origins villains, the Skeletor with the Alcala head sculpt, and Evil Lyn, and the Flocked Panther, Merman, Faker, Trapjaw, Beastman, Stinkor, all of them. And right down here, dun dun dun, Ronald McDonald. We're about to get to that in a little bit. But I just love the way these villains look and having all of these versions of them. I never thought 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago that we'd have this option to have so many versions of figures that I was attached to as a kid. Now we get into the fast food and cereal monsters collection down here. I mean, I've been very dedicated lately to picking these types of figures and toys up. Back there, we got the Fisher-Price style, sugar frosted, Mayor McCheese for the product pals that he put out there. And we got Grimace, we got the little Ronald McDonald race car back there that came with Happy Meals. These Remco figures that I've got in here are absolutely amazing. And then of course the Cereal Monsters figures that have been coming out recently from Jada Toys are just spectacular. Mixing those in with some of the Funko Pops and Happy Meal toys that have come out over the years, just stoked to have these particular characters in my collection. Then finally, moving up here to the top shelf on the left-hand side of where I sit, got the Fisher-Price playset that Aaron Davies, fan and friend of the channel, that he found for me out in Utah. Super happy to have this. I've got some other things here too. Look at those Dungeons and Dragons figures. Those are from Bobby Dangerously. You know Bobby Dangerously if you watch the Frenzy here. And you should definitely go over there and subscribe to his channel if you haven't already. But I love that Superman from McFarlane, the Superpower Superman, the Fisher-Price Sesame Street figures, the Little People, amazing. All of them are so cool. And I can't believe that I have these figures now finally. I've been wanting them since I was a kid. That playset especially, just love them. Thank you so much for joining me on this toy collection tour. I took a lot of time trying to make this tour interesting for you all. I'm glad you stuck with me through both parts of this tour. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're here. And also, if you're a Patreon, thank you so much. You know who you are. And if you want to become a Patreon, there's information right down below. You will show up in the end credits of each video, just like the Patreon members of this channel do. I also do vlogs over there, and I'm always trying to come up with something to offer my Patreons. So if not, it's cool. I'm just happy to have you here spending time with me. Click like, click subscribe. Definitely click that bell icon so you get reminders for whenever these episodes come out. And then also make comments down below. That's how these two videos, this toy collection tour part 1 and part 2, that's how they were made, because a viewer of this channel made a wonderful comment and said, hey, would you be willing to do this? And yes, I am. I usually am willing to do or try the suggestions that you all make. Really love the toy community, really love the folks that watch this channel, and I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.